teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yeah, we chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father.
Started from the bottom, now we heal. You already know what it is. Giving praise to the God of Israel. Yeah, the truth has been revealed. Even though a lot of masses live, the whole world has been deceived for real. Read Revelation chapter 12. Time will tell who will prevail 400 year captivity. But we coming out of here. Prophecy been fulfilled. Gotta live righteously. Yeah, we'll see who is real and who will appear out. Cause of fear, cause of doubt. Who will hear and believe our report. Time to resort back to the sword. Yeah, the mighty one through the sun. Fight a run, we gon' fight. If it is real, Ephesians 6 and 12. Yeah, we battle where the evil dwell. Hell is just a grace. So yeah, you know we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Who shall we feel? Come on, cause our vision is near. Even though it's a war going on, gotta keep marching on. This is for my appeals. Either have the ill heal. It's time to go home, for real.
Yeah, we chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yeah, we chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. It's too late now. All praise to Yahweh, the Most High, our Elohim. Yeah. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yeah, we chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that
on a mission to snatch my people straight up out that fire. On a mission to snatch the lamb out the mouth of a lion. If you notice he ain't in the fold, leave the 99. To say that brother or sister somehow we left behind. Should I leave the 99 sheep to go back for the one? I mean that's still 99 and that's more than some. Yeshua came for the lost sheep, let's get him young. He might be seeking a change like the prodigal son. Wise as a serpent, homeless as doves, that's how we played. Blocking these fiery arrows, strapped with my shield of faith. Many are called, few are chosen, what the scriptures say. Jeremiah 31:21, the ship's on the way, crossing the Jordan, still waters, we want no trouble that day. Matthew 7:13, enter through the straight gates. Broad is the path of destruction, but narrow is the way. Jeremiah 31, for the new covenant we shall wait. Hebrews 8, yeah, Hebrews 8, for the new covenant we shall wait. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. Praise Yah. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father.
Started from the bottom, now we heal. You already know what it is. Giving praise to the God of Israel. The truth has been revealed. Even though a lot of masses live, the whole world has been deceived for real. Read Revelation chapter 12. Time will tell who will prevail 400 year captivity. But we coming out of here. Prophecy been fulfilled. Gotta live righteously. Yeah, we'll see who is real and who will appear out. Cause of fear, cause of doubt. Who will hear and believe our report. Time to resort back to the sword. Yeah, the mighty one through the sun. Fight a run, we gon' fight. If it is real, Ephesians 6 and 12. Yeah, we battle where the evil dwell. Hell is just a grace. So yeah, you know we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Who shall we feel? Come on, cause our vision is near. Even though it's a war going on, gotta keep marching on. This is for my appeals. Either have the ill heal. It's time to go home, for real.
Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but yeah, we still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yeshua, the only way that reach the Father.
Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yahshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yahshua, the only way that on a mission to snatch my people straight up out that fire. On a mission to snatch the lamb out the mouth of a lion. If you notice he ain't in the fold, leave the 99. Just say that brother or sister somehow we left behind. Should I leave the 99 sheep to go back for the one? I mean that's still 99 and that's more than some. Yahshua came for the lost sheep, let's get him young. He might be seeking a change like the prodigal son. Wise as a serpent, homeless as doves, that's how we played. Blocking these fiery arrows, strapped with my shield of faith. Many are called, few are chosen, what the scriptures say. Jeremiah 31:21, the ship's on the way, crossing the Jordan, still waters, we want no trouble that day. Matthew 7:13, enter through the straight gates, broad is the path of destruction, but narrow is the way. Jeremiah 31, for the new covenant we shall wait. Hebrews 8, yeah, Hebrews 8, for the new covenant we shall wait. All praise to the Most High Yahweh Elohim, praise Yah. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yahshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yahshua, the only way that reach the Father.
Started from the bottom, now we heal. You already know what it is. Giving praise to the God of Israel. Yeah, the truth has been revealed. Even though a lot of men live the whole world, they've been deceived for real. Read Revelation chapter 12. Time will tell who will prevail 400 year captivity. But we coming out of here. Prophecy been fulfilled. Gotta live righteously. Yeah, we'll see who is real and who will appear out. Cause of fear, cause of doubt. Who will hear and believe our report. Time to resort back to the sword. Yeah, the mighty one through the sun. Fight or run, we gon' fight. If it is real, Ephesians 6:12. Yeah, we battle where the evil dwell. Hell is just a grace. So yeah, you know we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Who shall we feel? Come on. Cause salvation is near, even though it's a war going on. Gotta keep marching on. This is for my pills. He that hath the ear, hear. It's time to go home, for real.
Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yahshua, the only way that reach the Father. Yahweh chose us from the bottom. Yeah, we ran to a couple of problems, but Yahweh still got us. You got a problem, he can solve it. We keep the commandments. We teach our sons and teach our daughters. We pray through Yahshua, the only way that reach the Father.
Shalom Facebook, Shalom YouTube. Welcome to our history class. Tonight we are in 2 Chronicles chapter 10. But before we get started, does anyone have any questions? All right. Let's go ahead and get started then. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for to Shechem were all Israel come to make him king. Now this is after his father Shlomo dies. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was in Egypt, where he had fled from the presence of Shlomo the king, heard it, that Jeroboam returned out of Egypt. And they sent and called him. So Jeroboam and all Israel came, and spake to Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father, and his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee. And he said unto them, Come again unto me after 3 days. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Shlomo his father, while he yet lived, saying, What counsel give you me to return answer to this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel which the old man gave him, and took counsel with the young men that were brought up with them that stood before him. And he said unto them, what advice give you that we may return answer to this people which have spoken to me, saying, ease somewhat the yoke that thy father did put upon us? And the young men that were brought up with them spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger should be thicker than my father's slack loins. For whereas my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. This shows you the difference between growing up in a royal household and just growing up in a regular family. See, what we have here, they live in a different world than the rest of the people. That Jeroboam and the rest of the children of Israel, they live in a different world because they've been brought up as princes in their father's house. So they couldn't feel any empathy for the regular people. And so, and beside that, Yahweh told Moshe, not Moshe, but King Shlomo, what he said about King Shlomo was that he's going to take the kingdom from him, but he's going to leave a tribe there with him. So he didn't take it in Shlomo's time, but this is leading up to the first separation of the children of Israel. 2 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 12. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the third day, as the king bade, saying, come again to me on the third day. And the king answered them roughly, and King Rehoboam forsook the counsel of the old men, and answered them after the advice of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, but I will add thereto. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was of Elohim, that Yahweh might perform his word, which he spake by the hand of Ahiah, the Shulamite, to Rehoboam the son of Nebat. And when all Israel saw, that the king would not hearken unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we with David? And we have none inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to your tents, O Israel. And now David, see to thine own house. So all Israel went to their tents. But as the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Hadoram, that was over the tribute, and the children of Israel stoned him with stones that he died. The king Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem, and Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. You look at verse 17. It says, as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah. So it wasn't necessarily, they were not necessarily bound by that by the property line. They were dwelling in each other's city. Because he says, as for the children of Israel that dwelt in the cities of Judah. So you look at, for instance, the Ark of the Covenant dwelling in the house of one of the priests of Yahweh, and they call him a Gittite. But a Gittite is someone that is a citizen of the Philistine country. But nevertheless, that the point is that they had other Israelites living in Judah's land. But also, if you notice, in the telling of the 2 Chronicles, I mentioned this last time, but they didn't mention Bathsheba in Second Chronicles. A lot of things they don't mention in Second Chronicles that David did, but nevertheless, it's just retelling the story in a different way. That's all. We're going to pick this up in Second Chronicles chapter 11. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he gathered of the house of Judah and Benjamin 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against Israel, that he might bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam. But the word of Yahweh came to Shemaiah, the man of Elohim, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Shlomo, king of Judah, and to all Israel and Judah and Benjamin, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, You shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, return every man to his house, for this thing is done of me. And they obeyed the words of Yahweh and returned from going after Jeroboam. Now notice who's there with Rehoboam is the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Benjamin, right? So that means 10 tribes are still up north, have went north, right? Now, I don't know whether they read this or not, but they still claim that 10 tribes are still missing. And so what are the other 2 tribes? They never say who the other 2 tribes are. And all you got are people that call themselves Jews over there. That's just one tribe. It's a game being played, bro. And it's an old game, been playing for hundreds of years, and now we're just not starting to see. I believe some white folks are starting to see it too, that they're being played. But they bought all the government, and they got all the senators, so they got guaranteed cash flow from America over there to the land. Been like that since 1948. So I believe white folks know they've been played, but there ain't nothing they can do. That they got some on these white folks here. And that's how they roll. They blackmail you, set you up. I don't know. You heard of the squad up in Washington D.C. These 4 women.
Oh yeah.
One of them decided to complain about the way the Israelis are massacring the people in Gaza. That she took the side of the Palestinians, and they primaried her. She ain't in Congress no more. See, you got to support Israel, bro. Else they're gonna find a way to get you out of there. They own all those senators, man. That's power. That's our brother. What we got? We got they turned against us anyway. You don't do nothing for us. Let's continue. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 5. And Rehoboam dwelt in Jerusalem and built cities for defense in Judah. He built even Bethlehem and Etam and Tekoa and Beth-zur and Shoko and Adullam and Gath and Marashah and Ziph and Adoraim and Achish and Azekah and Zorah and Ayalon and Hebron, which are in Judah and in Benjamin, fenced cities. And he fortified the strongholds and put captains in them, and store of victual and of oil and wine. In every several city he put shields and spears, and made them exceeding strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel resorted to him out of all their coasts. For the Levites left their suburbs and their possession, and came to Judah and Jerusalem. But Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto Yahweh. And he ordained him priests for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves which he had made, And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek Yahweh Elohim of Israel, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto Yahweh Elohim of their fathers. So they strengthened the kingdom of Yehuda and made Rehoboam, the son of Shlomo, strong 3 years. For 3 years they walked in the way of David and Shlomo. And Rehoboam took him Mahalath, the daughter of Yerimoth, the son of David, to wife, and Abihail, the daughter of Eliab, the son of Jesse, which bare him children, Yeush, and Shemariah, and Zaham. And after her he took Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, which bare him Abiah, and Attai, and Zizah, and Shelomoth. And Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Absalom, above all his wives and his concubines. For he took 18 wives and 60 concubines, and begat 28 sons, and 80 daughters. Where do you find the time? You see all these women he married? I mean, I know they're a king, but damn. Do you ever do any business? You ever sleep? See, that's what Jake's thinking now. He can do this too. Yeah. Talk about going back to the land of have about 7 wives, 7 days of the week. No, I wouldn't advise that. See, you ain't no king, number one. This is a king. And they got to do what he tells them to do. I'm sorry, you ain't no king. You just Jake, okay? You be happy with what you got. You got a wife, keep a wife, right? You don't ask her if you can have another wife, a concubine. Because next thing you know, you be waking up in the hospital with oxygen mask on your face and tubes running up your arm, trying to save your life. They got them cups that put on your chest to change the heart stop. Clear, pow, right? Trying to revive you, man. He thought it was all right with her. No, you don't do that here. Not here. These women are serious. Let's continue. I meant to make mention that you had 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, and now you got a 3rd tribe, Levi. Right? So the Levites and the Benjamites and the Judahites, they formed the house of Judah. And that's why we know that the house of Judah was in the land during the time of the Mashiach and during the time of the Apostle Paul. So with that, we can imagine that when Jerusalem was destroyed and Judea was destroyed, those 3 tribes were the ones that escaped out of Jerusalem and ended up over here. So that's why we know the house of Judah is here in America. But the bulk of the slaves that came here landed in Brazil. But we never hear about it. But then again, you can't equate Brazil with Babylon. But you can equate America with Babylon. So even though a remnant of us came over here, yeah, we've grown to the point where these prophecies come to pass about us being in Babylon. Yeah, because in Brazil, it's not. You can't call it Babylon because it's not confusion in Brazil. Jake knows his position, and everybody else knows that. We know that Esau run that too. Yeah, Jake just waiters and stuff, man. He do time in prison, just like they do here. But he can't get a good education over there in Brazil, man, because of Esau. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see. Keep on living. Verse 22. 2 Chronicles 11, verse 22. And Rehoboam made Abiah, the son of Maacah, the chief, to be ruler among his brethren, for he thought to make him king. And he dealt wisely and dispersed all his children throughout all the countries of Judah and Benjamin unto every fenced city, and gave them victual in abundance, and he desired many wives. There must have been different kind of women back in the days, man. I just can't see it today. And it came to pass when Rehoboam had established the kingdom, and he had strengthened himself, he forsook the law of Yahweh, and all Israel with him. And it came to pass that in the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jeroboam and Jerusalem, because they had transgressed against Yahweh, with 1,200 chariots and 60,000 horsemen, and the people were without number that came with them out of Egypt, the Lubims, the Sukkims, and the Ethiopians. And he took the fenced cities which pertained to Judah, and came to Jerusalem. Then came Shemaiah the prophet to Rehoboam and to the princes of Judah that were gathered together to Jerusalem because of Shishak, and said unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, Ye have forsaken me, and therefore have I also left you in the hand of Shishak. Whereupon the priests of Israel and the king humbled themselves, and they said, Yahweh is righteous. And when Yahweh saw that they humbled themselves, the word of Yahweh came to Shemaiah, saying, They have humbled themselves, therefore I will not destroy them, but I will grant them some deliverance, and my wrath shall not be poured out upon Jerusalem by the hand of Shishak. Nevertheless, they shall be his servants, that they may know my service and the service of the kingdoms of the countries. So Shishak, king of Egypt, came up against Jerusalem, and took away the treasures of the house of Yahweh, and the treasures of the king's house. He took all. He carried away also the shields of gold which Shlomo had made, instead of which King Rehoboam made shields of brass, and committed them to the hands of the chief of the guard that kept the entrance of the king's house. And when the king entered into the house of Yahweh, the guard came and fetched them and brought them again into the chamber, into the guard chamber. And when he humbled himself, the wrath of Yahweh turned from him, that he would not destroy him altogether. And also in Yehuda things went well. So King Rehoboam strengthened himself in Jerusalem and reigned. For Rehoboam was 140 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city which Yahweh had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel to put his name there. And his mother's name was Naamah, an Ammonitess. What you doing with an Ammonite? You married an Ammonitess? Well, I guess they're going by what Boaz did. He married a Moabitess. Verse 14, and he did it, and he did evil because he prepared not his heart to seek Yahweh. Verse 15, now the acts of Rehoboam, first and last, are they not written in the book of Shemaiah the prophet, and of Edo the seer, concerning the genealogies? And there were wars between Rehoboam and Jeroboam continually. And Rehoboam slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David, and Abiah his son reigned in his stead. 2 Chronicles chapter 13, verse 1. Now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam began Abiah to reign over Judah. He reigned 3 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Micaiah, the daughter of Uriel of Gibeah. And there was war between Abiah and Jeroboam. And Abiah set the battle in array with an army of valiant men of war, even 400,000 chosen men. Jeroboam also set the battle in array against him with 800,000 chosen men, being mighty men of valor. And Abiah stood up upon Mount Zemaraim, which is in Mount Ephraim, and said, Hear me, thou Jeroboam, and all Israel. Ought you not to know that Yahweh Elohim of Israel gave the kingdom over to Israel, to David forever, even to him and to his sons by a covenant of salt? Yet Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, the servant of Shlomo, the son of David, is risen up and have rebelled against his master. And there are gathered unto him vain men, the children of Belial, and have strengthened themselves against Rehoboam, the son of Shlomo, when Rehoboam was young and tenderhearted, and could not withstand them. And now you think to withstand the kingdom of Yahweh in the hand of the sons of David, and you be a great multitude, and there are with you golden calves which Jeroboam made you for gods. Have you not cast out the priests of Yahweh, the sons of Aaron, and the Levites, and have made you priests after the manner of the nations of other lands, so that whosoever cometh to consecrate himself with a young bullock and 7 rams, the same may be a priest of them that are no gods. But as for us, Yahweh is our Elohim, and we have not forsaken him. And the priests which minister unto Yahweh are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. And they burn unto Yahweh every morning and every evening burnt sacrifices and sweet incense. The showbread also set they in order upon the pure table, and the candlestick of gold with the lamps thereof to burn every evening. For we keep the charge of Yahweh our Elohim, but you have forsaken him. And behold, Elohim himself is with us for our captain, and his priests with sounding trumpets to cry alarm against you. O children of Israel, fight you not against Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, but you shall not prosper. But Jeroboam caused an ambushment to come about behind them, so they were before Judah, and the ambushment was behind them. And when Judah looked back, behold, the battle was before and behind. And they cried unto Yahweh, and the priests sounded with the trumpets. Then the men of Judah gave a shout, and as the men of Judah shouted, it came to pass that Elohim smote Jeroboam and all Israel before Abiah and Judah. And the children of Israel fled before Judah, and Elohim delivered them into their hand. And Abiah and his people slew them with a great slaughter, so that there fell down slain of Israel 500,000 chosen men. Thus the children of Israel were brought under at that time, and the children of Yehudah prevailed, because they relied upon Yahweh Elohim of their fathers. And Abiah pursued after Jeroboam, and took cities from him, Bethel and the town with the towns thereof, and Yashanah with the town thereof, and Ephraim with the town thereof. Neither did Jeroboam recover strength again in the days of Abiah, and Yahweh struck him, and he died. But Abiah waxed mighty, and married 14 wives, and begat 22 sons and 16 daughters. And the rest of the acts of Abiah, and his ways, and his sayings, are written in the story of the prophet Iddo. Now, this man had many wives also, and had 14 wives, and begat 22 sons and 16 daughters. I don't understand. Where do you find the time? Do you rest? I mean, you got the Sabbath day. You got to rest then. Come on. Let Yahweh have one of them days, bro. 2 Chronicles 14, verse 1. So Abiah slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David, and Asa his son reigned in his stead. In his days the land was quiet 10 years. And Asa did that which was good and right in the eyes of Yahweh his Elohim. For he took away the altars of the strange gods, and the high places, and break down the images and cut down the groves, and commanded Judah to seek Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, and to do the law and the commandments. He also took away out of all the cities of Judah the high places and the images, and the kingdom was quiet before him. And he built fenced cities in Judah, for the land had rest, and had no war in those years, because Yahweh had given him rest. Therefore he said unto Yehudah, let us build these cities, and make about them walls, and towers, and gates, and bars, while the land is yet before us, because we have sought Yahweh our Elohim, we have sought him, and he hath given us rest on every side. So they built and prospered. And Asa had an army of men that bare targets and spears out of Judah, 300,000, and out of Benjamin that bare shields and drew bows, 280,000. All these were mighty men of valor. Now, let's see here. I was going to make a mention of something here. I saw. Oh yeah, my question is, I think I asked this before. Now, Ace is going on a building spree, building up different places, different cities. My question is, where is he getting the financing? Because I don't see them fighting a war nowhere. Because usually when they get fighting a war, they get the booty out of the war. They get all that gold and silver they bring to the war. But I haven't seen them fighting a war except for with Jeroboam. But again, that's not enough to finance rebuilding cities or doing the thing that he's doing. So what kind of economy did they have? Now, aside from selling those things that come out of the field, the things of the herds, the things of the flock, those would be personal wealth. That would be personal wealth. But looking at the king and how he gets his revenue, he may put them on the tribute. That's the only way I can see him financing the government, just like they tax people today to finance the government. 2 Chronicles 14, verse 9. And there came out against him Zerah the Ethiopian with a host of 1,000,000 and 300 chariots, and came to Maresha. Then Asa went out against him, and they set the battle in array in the battle of Zapata and Maresha. And Asa cried unto Yahweh his Elohim, and said, Yahweh, it is nothing with thee to help, whether with many or with them that have no power. Help us, O Yahweh our Elohim, for we rest on thee, and in thy name we go against this multitude. O Yahweh, thou art our Elohim, let not man prevail against thee. So Yahweh smote the Ethiopians before Asa and before Yehudah, and the Ethiopians fled. And Asa and the people that were with him pursued them unto Gerar, and the Ethiopians were overthrown, that they could not recover themselves, for they were destroyed before Yahweh and before his hosts, and they carried away very much spoil. And they smote out. Now Ethiopia, well, you know, Ethiopia broke it up in Somalia and Eritrea, and they're on the east side of Africa. So we won't be going that far when I'll return home. We're probably going up the middle of Africa. We don't know, but we won't be going that eastward journey. We won't be going toward the east. We'll be going north. We'll be heading north actually. Let's see. Verse 14. And they smote all the cities round about Gerar, For the fear of Yahweh came upon them, and he spoiled all the cities, for there was exceeding much spoil in them. They smote also the tents of cattle, and carried away sheep and camels in abundance, and returned to Jerusalem. I remember when Moshe sent his men out to fight against the Midianites because they had corrupted the children of Israel. And they came back with a bunch of booty, a bunch of loot that they got after slaughtering all the Midianites. But Moshe split it up between those that went to the battle and those that stayed home. So everybody prospered in the way they had done. So again, that's another way the economy ran. Because I imagine once they got all that gold, they go buying stuff for themselves, buying from their neighbors, food and raiment. So if you got some specialty that can make you some money, then you might want to start practicing that now. Because you look at over there in Africa now, you got to have your own business. You can't just walk up and ask somebody to hire you. It don't work like that in Africa. I mean, Africa is nothing like America. So if you don't have your own business, you don't have your own way of making money, you better leave and go back home. Because they don't hire nobody there. There's people over there now want to come back home because it wasn't what they thought it was. 2 Chronicles 15, verse 1. And the spirit of Elohim came upon Azariah the son of Oded, and he went out to meet Asa, and said unto him, Here you be, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. Yahweh is with you, while you be with him. And if you seek him, he will be found of you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. Now for a long season, Israel have been without the true Elohim, and without a teaching priest, and without law. And when they in their trouble did turn unto Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and sought him, he was found of them. And in those days, in those times, there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in, but great vexation were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. And nation was destroyed of nation, and city of city, for Elohim did vex them with all adversity. Be you strong, therefore, and let not your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. And when Asa heard these words, and the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage and put away the abominable idols out of all the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim, and renewed the altar of Yahweh that was before the porch of Yahweh. Now, did you know the conflict here in this chapter? There's a contradiction here. Did you spot it? Look at verse 1. It says that the spirit of Elohim came upon Azariah the son of Oded, right? Mm-hmm. Well, let's look at verse 8. And when Asa heard these words and the prophecy of Oded the prophet, he took courage and put away the abominable idols out of the land of Judah and Benjamin, and out of the cities which he had taken from Mount Ephraim, and renewed the altar of Yahweh that was before the porch of Yahweh. So we got Oded, the son of Oded, Azariah, prophesying, but you got Oded prophesying also. So there is a conflict, but because you can't have both prophets on the scene at the same time. I mean, son and the father, both of them prophet. I think that might have been a mistake by the scribes and the people that preserved the manuscripts, because you can't have one as Azariah as the son of Oded, and then have Oded, and what happened to Azariah. Verse 9. And he gathered all Judah and Benjamin, and the strangers with them out of Ephraim and Manasseh, and out of Simeon, for they fell to him out of Israel in abundance, when they saw that Yahweh his Elohim was with him. So they gathered themselves together at Jerusalem in the 3rd month, and the 15th year of Asa, 15th year of the reign of Asa. And they offered unto Yahweh the same time of the spoil which they had brought, 700 oxen and 7,000 sheep. And they entered into a covenant to seek Yahweh Elohim of their fathers with all their heart and with all their soul, that whosoever would not seek Yahweh Elohim of Israel should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. And they swear unto Yahweh with a loud voice, and with shouting, and with trumpets, and with cornets. And all Judah rejoiced at the oath, for they had sworn with all their heart, and sought him with their whole desire, and he was found of them. And Yahweh gave them rest around about. And also concerning Maacah, the mother of Asa the king, he removed her from being queen because she had made her idol. They had made an idol in a grove, and Asa cut down her idol and stamped it and burnt it at the brook Kidron. But the high places were not taken away out of Israel. Nevertheless, the heart of Asa was perfect all his days. And he brought into the house of Elohim the things that his father had dedicated, and that he might himself had dedicated, silver and gold and vessels. And there was no more war until the 35th year of the reign of Asa. Second Chronicles chapter 16, verse 1. In the 6th and 30th year of the reign of Asa, Baasha, king of Israel, came up against Jehudah and built Ramah, to the intent that he might let none go out or come in to Asa, king of Judah. Then Asa brought all silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of Yahweh and the king's house, and sent to Benhadad, king of Assyria, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, There is a league between me and thee, as there was between my father and thy father. Behold, I have sent thee silver and gold. Go and break thy league with Baasha, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Benhadad hearkened unto the king Asa, and went and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel, and they smote them, and they smote Ion and Dan and Abel Maim and all the store cities of Naphtali. And it came to pass, when Baasha heard it, that he left off building of Ramah, and left his work, and let his work cease. Then Asa the king took all Jehudah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah, and the built timber thereof, wherewith Baasha was building, and he built there with Jebah and Mizpah. And at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa king of Judah, and said unto him, Because thou hast relied on the king of Syria, and not relied on Yahweh thy Elohim, therefore is the host of the king of Syria escaped out of thine hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubims a huge host with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because thou didst rely on Yahweh, he delivered them into thine hand. For the eyes of Yahweh run to and fro throughout the earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore from henceforth thou shalt have wars. Then Asa was wroth with the seer, and put him in a prison house, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people at the same time. And behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. Verse 12, and Asa in the 39th year of his reign was diseased in his feet unto his disease was exceeding great. Yet in his disease he sought not to Yahweh, but to the physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers and died in the 40th year of his reign. And they buried him in his own house, his own sepulchre, which he had made for himself, in the city of David, and laid him in the bed, which was filled with sweet odors and divers kinds of spices, prepared by the apothecaries' art. And they made a very great burning for him. Now that doesn't mean he was cremated. That burning was not a cremation. It was more of burning incense. That's my guess anyway. 2 Chronicles chapter 17 verse 1. And Jehoshaphat his son reigned in his stead, and strengthened himself against Israel. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Yehudah, and set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. And Yahweh was with Jehoshaphat, because he walked in the first ways of his father David, and sought not unto Baalim, but sought to Yahweh Elohim of his father, and walked in his commandments, and not after the doings of Israel. Therefore Yahweh established the kingdom in his hand, and all Judah brought to Jehoshaphat presents, and he had riches and honor in abundance. And his heart was lifted up in the ways of Yahweh. Moreover, he took away the high places and groves out of Judah. Also in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent to his princes, even to Ben-Hail, and to Obadiah, and to Zechariah, and to Nathanael, and to Micaiah, to teach in the cities of Judah. And with them he sent Levites, even Shemaiah, and Nathaniah, and Zebediah, and Asahel, and Shemimaruth, Seramoth, and Jonathan, and Nadaniah, and Tobiah, and Adoniah, Levites, and with them Elishama and Jehoram priests. And they taught them in Judah, and had the book of the law of Yahweh, which he with the book of with them, and went about throughout all the cities of Judah, and taught the people. And the fear of Yahweh fell upon all the kingdoms of the hands that were round about Judah, so that they made no war against Jehoshaphat. Also, some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat presents and tribute silver, and the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams, and 7,000 he-goats. And Jehoshaphat waxed great, exceeding, and he built in Judah castles and cities of store. And he had much business in the cities of Judah, and the men of war, mighty men of valor, were in Jerusalem. And these are the numbers of them according to the house of their fathers, of Judah, the captains of thousands, Adnah the chief, and with him mighty men of valor, 300,000. And next to him was Jehohanan, the captain, and with him 280,000. And next him was Amasiah, the son of Zikri, who willingly offered himself unto Yahweh, and with him 200,000 mighty men of valor. And of Benjamin, Eliada, a mighty man of valor, and with him armed men with bow and shield 200,000. And next him was Jehoshaphat, and with him 180,000 ready prepared for the war. These waited on the king, besides those whom the king put in fenced cities throughout all Judah. Now Jehoshaphat, 2 Chronicles 18, verse 1. Now Jehoshaphat had riches and honor in abundance, and joined affinity with Ahab. And after certain years he went down to Ahab to Samaria, and Ahab killed sheep and oxen for him in abundance. And for the people that he had with them, persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead. And Ahab, king of Israel, said unto Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, Wilt thou go with me to Ramoth Gilead? And he answered him, I am as thou art, and my people as thy people, and we will be with thee in the war. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king, king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, the word of Yahweh today. Therefore, the king of Israel gathered together of prophets 400 men, and said unto them, Shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or forbear? And they said, Go up, for Elohim will deliver it into the king's hand. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Yahweh besides, that we might inquire of him? And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Yahweh, but I hate him, for he never prophesied toward me anything that is good. Prophesied good unto me, but always evil. The same is Micaiah the son of Imlah. And Jehoshaphat said, Let not the king say so. And the king of Israel called for one of his officers and said, Fetch quickly Micaiah the son of Imlah. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat king of Judah sat either of them on his throne, clothed in their robes, and they sat in a void place at the entry in of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. And Zedekiah the son of Kenaniah had made him horns of iron, and said, Thus said Yahweh, With these thou shalt push Syria until they be consumed. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for Yahweh shall deliver it into the hands of the king. Verse 12, and the messengers that went to call Micaiah spake to him, saying, Behold, the words of the prophets declare good to the king, and with one assent. Let thy word, therefore, I pray thee, be like one of theirs, and speak unto them, but speak thou good. And Micaiah said, As Yahweh liveth, even what my Elohim saith, that will I speak. And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle? Should I forbear? Now, he said, and Micaiah said, as Yahweh liveth, even as what my Elohim said, that will I speak. Okay. So Micaiah is, they want him to tell them whether they're going to be successful or not. That's what they were done back in those days. They always get a prophet to let them know, yeah, we're going to win this, we're going to lose it. Right? Now, Yahweh had the true prophets, but the rest of the people had prophets like Jezebel. Yeah, so they prophesied in the name of all the gods, like they did in the Midianites when the children of Israel out there in the wilderness, and they got Balaam to curse Israel. Well, he was he was a diviner, and he divined many gods, so that we got only Yahweh here, but we see what they have to deal with here, because the king of Israel has many prophets that are not of Yahweh. Verse 14. And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And he said, go you up, and prosper, and they shall be delivered into your hand. And the king said to him, how many times shall I adjure you that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of Yahweh? Then he said, I did see all Israel scattered upon the mountains as sheep that have no shepherd. And Yahweh said, these have no master. Let them return, therefore, every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, did I not tell thee that he would not prophesy good unto me, but evil? Again he said, therefore hear the word of Yahweh. I saw Yahweh sitting upon his throne. I saw the Adonai sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand and on his left. And Yahweh said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Then there came out a spirit and stood before Yahweh and said, I will entice him. And Yahweh said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And Yahweh said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. Now therefore, behold, Yahweh hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and Yahweh hath spoken evil against you. Then Zedekiah the son of Kenani came near and smote Micaiah upon the cheek, and said, which way would the spirit of Yahweh from me to speak unto thee? And Micaiah said, behold, thou shalt see on that day, when thou shalt go out into an inner chamber to hide thyself. Then the king of Israel said, take you Micaiah and carry him back to Amon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, thus saith the king, put this fellow in the prison and feed him with bread of affliction until I return in peace. And Micaiah said, if thou certainly return in peace, then have not Yahweh spoken by me. And he said, hearken, all you people. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself, and will go to the battle, but put thou on thy robes. So the king of Israel distinguished himself, and they went to the battle. Now apparently Jehoshaphat not that bright. He couldn't pick up on what he was doing. He didn't seem that bright when he was married to in First King, but now he's slick talking Jehoshaphat because he knows Jehoshaphat's slow. Now the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots that were with him, saying, fight you not with small or great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and Yahweh helped them, and Elohim moved them to depart from him. And it came to pass that, when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture, and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. Therefore he said to his chariot man, Turn thine hand, that thou mayest carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day. Howbeit the king of Israel stayed himself up in his chariot against the Syrians until the even, and about the time of the sun going down, he died. Second Chronicles 19, verse 1. And Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem. And Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him, and said to King Jehoshaphat, Shouldst thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahweh? Therefore is wrath upon thee before Yahweh. I think I read this. Sounds familiar. Nevertheless, there are good things found in thee, in that thou hast taken away the groves out of the land, and hast prepared thine heart to seek Yahweh. And Jehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem, and he went out again through the people, from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim, and brought them back unto Yahweh Elohim of their fathers. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, Take heed what you do, for you judge not for man, but for Yahweh. Here is who is with you in judgment. Wherefore now let the fear of Yahweh be upon you. Take heed and do it. For there is no iniquity with Yahweh, our Elohim, nor respect of persons, nor taking of bribes. Moreover, in Jerusalem did Jehoshaphat set of the Levites and of the priests and of the chief of the fathers of Israel for the judgment of Yahweh, and for controversies when they returned to Jerusalem. And he charged them, saying, Thus shall you do in the fear of Yahweh, faithfully and with a perfect heart. And what cause soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwell in their cities, between blood and blood, between law and commandment, statutes and judgments, you shall even warn them that they trespass not against Yahweh, and so wrath come upon you. And upon your brethren this do, and you shall not trespass. And behold, Amariah, the chief priest, is over you in all matters of Yahweh, and Zebediah, the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Yehudah, for all the king's matters, and also the Levites shall be officers before you. Deal courageously, and Yahweh shall be with the good. Let's see here. Yes, sir. Whew. Yeah, be on this one for a minute. 2 Chronicles chapter 20, verse 1. It came to pass after this also, that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, and with them other beside the Ammonites, came against Jehoshaphat to battle. And there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, There cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea, on this side Syria. And behold, they be Hazazon, Tamar, which is En Gedi. And Jehoshaphat feared, and set himself to seek Yahweh, and proclaim a fast throughout all Judah. And Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of Yahweh, even out of all the cities of Judah they came to seek Yahweh. And Jehoshaphat stood in the congregation of Jehudah and Jerusalem and in the house of Yahweh before the new court, and said, O Yahweh Elohim of our fathers, art not thou Elohim in heaven, and ruleth not thou over all the kingdoms of the heathen? And in all thine hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee. And I just thought about this the other day, when it says, and ruleth thou not over all the kingdoms of the heathen. America, Yahweh runs America. So that everything we see happening in America, Yahweh showing us, it's written down in the book, so we see for ourselves that he got this thing planned all the way from the very beginning. But he only wanted to show us, few of us, what he done. He ain't showing to everybody. But what I find interesting sometimes when I'm on Facebook, I hear brothers talking like they've been watching our class. They talk about going back into the land. And some may even use Yahweh's name. Yeah, but that sound like us. I don't see anybody else teaching what we teach. So I gotta wonder where they getting that from. And putting it out on Facebook like they did it. Well, I'm not jealous. I mean, it's just so long as you get out, that's the main thing, man. Give Yahweh the glory, but I ain't never heard about talk like that before. I mean, word for word, what we say here, now they saying it. Word for word, bro. So praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
Verse 10? No. Verse 7?
You gotta read 7.
Yep.
Okay. Are not thou our Elohim, who did drive out the inhabitants of this land before thy people Israel, and gave it to the seed of Abraham thy friend forever? And they dwelt therein, and have built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name, saying, if when evil cometh upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house, and in thy presence, for thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou wilt hear and help. And now behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldst not let Israel invade when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them, and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us to come to cast us out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit it. O our Elohim, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us, neither know we what to do. But our eyes are upon thee. And all Yehudah stood before Yahweh with their little ones and their wives and their children. Then upon Jehaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jael, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the Spirit of Yahweh in the midst of the congregation. And he said, hearken you, all Judah, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat. Thus saith Yahweh unto you, be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but Elohim's. Tomorrow go you down against them. Behold, they come up by the cliff of Ziz, and you shall find them at the end of the brook before the wilderness of Israel. You shall not need to fight in this battle for yourselves. Set yourselves, stand you still, and see the salvation of Yahweh with you. Judah and Jerusalem. Hold on a second. Okay. You shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand still, and see the salvation of Yahweh with you, O Judah and Jerusalem. Fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahweh will be with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face toward to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahweh, worshiping Yahweh. And the Levites of the children of the Kohathites and of the children of the Korahites stood up to praise Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, with a loud voice on high. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahweh your Elohim, so shall you be established. Believe his prophets, so shall you prosper. And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahweh, and that should praise the beauty of holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, Praise Yahweh, for his mercy endures forever. And when they began to sing and to praise Yahweh, Yahweh set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. I think I need to change position of this book. And then, not get much light on this side. All right. Let's see. What verse I stop at? Huh?
You go
23. Pick it up at 23?
Yep.
Okay. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. That sure helped. Appreciate that. And when Yehuda came toward the watch tower in the wilderness, they looked unto the multitude, and behold, there were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped. And when Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both riches and with the dead bodies, and precious jewels, which they stripped off for themselves, more than they could carry away. And they were 3 days in gathering of the spoil. It was so much. It took them 3 days? They had all that gold and silver on them? Now again, you got to look at your future. They got to be bringing that gold and silver to you. Yep, they got to serve you. They got to pay you tribute. So they will have to serve a servant of servants. They have to be servants to servants. That's something they're not used to. No, that's gonna break them right there. I said, no, just throw me like a fire. I'm through. I can't do this. Let's see here. 23, 24. Okay, 26. And on the 4th day, they assembled themselves in the valley of Barakah, for there they blessed Yahweh. Therefore, the name of the same place was called the valley of Barakah unto this day. And they returned, every man of Jehudah and Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them, to go again to Jerusalem with joy, for Yahweh had made them to rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with psalteries and harps and trumpets unto the house of Yahweh And the fear of Elohim was on the kingdoms of those countries when they had heard that Yahweh fought against the enemies of Israel. So the realm of Jehoshaphat was quiet, for his Elohim gave him rest round about. And Jehoshaphat reigned over Judah. He was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in the way of Asa his father, and departed not from it, doing that which was right in the sight of Yahweh. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, for yet the people had not prepared their hearts unto the Elohim of their fathers. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, first and last, behold, they are written in the book of Jehu, the son of Hanani, who is mentioned in the book of the kings of Israel. And after this did Jehoshaphat of Jehudah join himself with Ahaziah, king of Israel, who did very wickedly. And he joined himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish, and they made the ships at Ezion Geber. But did Eleazar the son of Dodavah and Marishah prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, because thou hast joined thyself up with Ahaziah, Yahweh hath broken thy works, and the ships were broken, that they were not able to go to Tarshish. He's kind of naive. But he was a good king, but he just kind of slow. 2 Chronicles 21 verse 1. Now Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his father in the city of David, and Jehoram his son reigned in his stead. And he had brethren, the sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariah, Yahael, and Zechariah, and Azariah, and Michael, and Shephatiah. All these were the sons of Jehoshaphat, king of Israel. He named two of his boys the same name. Did you see that?
That's all right.
Yeah. That's just like what's that boxer?
George Foreman.
George Foreman named all his children George. I mean, he had a bunch of sons, didn't he? All of them named George. That's original. 2 Chronicles 21 verse 3. And their father gave them great gifts of silver and of gold and of precious things, with fenced cities in Judah. But the kingdom gave he to Jehoram, because he was the firstborn. Now when Jehoram was risen up to the kingdom of his father, he strengthened himself and slew all his brethren with the sword, and divers also of the princes of Israel. Jehoram was 32 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, like as did the house of Ahab, who had the daughter of Ahab to wife, and he wrought that which was evil in the eyes of Yahweh. Howbeit Yahweh would not destroy the house of David, because of the covenant that he had made with David, and as he promised to give a light to him and to his sons forever. In his days the Edomites revolted from under the dominion of Judah, and made themselves a king. Then Jehoram went forth with his princes and all his chariots with him, and he rose up by night and smote the Edomites which compassed him in, and the captains of the chariots. So the Edomites revolted from under the hand of Jehudah unto this day. Then that same time also did Libnah revolt from under his hand, because he had forsaken Yahweh Elohim of his fathers. Well, that's kind of cutthroat. That man, he killed his own brothers. Moreover, he made high places in the mountains of Judah, and caused inhabitants of Jerusalem to commit fornication, and compelled Judah thereto. And there came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet, saying, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim of David thy father, because thou hast not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat thy father, nor in the ways of Asa king of Judah, but hast walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and has made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to go a whoring, like to the whoredoms of the house of Ahab, and also has slain thy brethren of thy father's house, which were better than thyself. Behold, with a great plague will Yahweh smite thy people, and thy children, and thy wives, and all thy goods. And thou shalt have great sickness by disease of thy bowels, until thy bowels fall out by reason of the sickness day by day. But he really mad at this guy. Moreover, Yahweh stirred up against Jehoram the spirit of the Philistines and of the Arabians that were near the Ethiopians. And they came up into Judah and brake into it and carried away all the substance that was found in the king's house, and his sons also, and his wives, so that was never a son left him, save Jehoahaz, the youngest of his sons. After all this, Yahweh smote him in his bowels with an incurable disease, and it came to pass that in the process of time, after the end of the 2 years, his bowels fell out by reason of his sickness. So he died of sore diseases, and his people made no burning for him, like the burning of his fathers. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years, and departed without being desired. Howbeit, they buried him in the city of David, but not in the sepulchres of the kings. Second Chronicles chapter 22, verse 1. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Ahaziah, his youngest son, king in his stead, for the band of men. Let me stop here. I'm going to go back here to verse 12 in the previous chapter. It says, there came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet, saying, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim of David thy father, because thou hast not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat thy father, nor in the ways of Asa king of Judah, but hast walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and has made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to go a whoring, like to the whoredoms of the house of Ahab, and also has slain thy brethren of thy father's house, which were better than thyself. Behold, with a great plague will Yahweh smite thy people, and thy children, and thy wives, and all thy goods. And thou shalt have great sickness by disease of thy bowels, until thy bowels fall out by reason of the sickness day by day. Now, this is long after Elijah taken away, right? Because Elijah prophesied during the time of Ahab. Well, this is one of Ahab's, I think it's his grandson, great-grandson, but nevertheless, Elijah was taken away, but he never met him. But he left him a letter. Right? So Elijah saw this happening in the future and wrote it down and said, now when you just go down and hand it to the king, let him read it. He saw it. Those prophets weren't no joke, bro. They saw, you have to look at this, all the Yahweh's prophets see things way ahead of time, and sometimes they wrote about it, and sometimes they didn't. But we got an instance here where Elijah saw this happening before he was taken away and left a letter for him. And this man hadn't even been born yet. But he had a letter waiting on him for a particular day. So hand that to him. See, that's Yahweh's prophets right there. So that ain't no Muhammad. That's Yahweh's prophet. Let me read chapter 22, verse 1 again. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Ahaziah, his youngest son, king in his stead. For the band of men that came with the Arabians to the camp had slain all the elders. So Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, reigned. 42 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri. He also walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother was his counselor to do wickedly. Wherefore he did evil in the sight of Yahweh, like the house of Ahab, for they were his counselors after the death of his father to his destruction. He walked also after their counsel, and went with Jehoram the son of Ahab, king of Israel, to war against Hazael, king of Syria, at Ramoth Gilead, and the Syrians smote Joram. And he returned to be healed in Jezreel because of the wounds which were given him at Ramah, when he fought with Hazael, king of Israel, king of Syria. And Azariah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Jehoram, the son of Ahab, at Jezreel, because he was sick. And the destruction of Ahaziah was of Elohim by coming to Joram, for when he was come, he went out with Jehoram against Jehu, the son of Nimshi, whom Yahweh had anointed to cut off the house of Ahab. And it came to pass that when Jehu was executing judgment upon the house of Ahab, and found the princes of Judah and the sons of brethren and the sons of the brethren of Ahaziah that ministered to Ahaziah, he slew them. And he saw Ahaziah, and they caught him, for he was hid in Samaria, and brought him to Jehu. And when they had slain him, they buried him, because said they, he is the son of Jehoshaphat, who sought Yahweh with all his heart. So the house of Ahaziah had no power to keep still the kingdom. Now I'm beginning to understand what we got in our law about men destroying those idols and gods, and not intermarrying with the people of the land when they first got in there, because the women may turn the men's hearts away from Yahweh. Well, I'm looking at this here. That's a prime example. The woman taking this man's heart away from Yahweh to worship the God of Abraham and Jezebel. Mm-hmm. So, not Abraham, but Ahab and Jezebel. So, I don't know what it is about our father. They seem to be weak men when it comes to women. Yeah. But when 2 Chronicles 22, verse 10, but when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal of the house of Yehudah. But Jehoshabeath, the daughter of the king, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons that were slain, and put him and his nurse in a bedchamber. So Jehoshabeath, the daughter of the king Jehoram, the wife of Jehoiada the priest, for she was the sister of Ahaziah, hid him from Athaliah, so that she slew him not. And he was with them hid in the house of Elohim 6 years, and Athaliah reigned over the land. Chapter 23, verse 1. And in the 7th year of Jehoiada, in the 7th year, Jehoiada strengthened himself and took the captains of hundreds, Azariah the son of Jehoram, and Ishmael the son of Yahahanan, and Azariah the son of Obed, and Maaseiah the son of Adiah, and Elishaphat the son of Zikri, into covenant with them. And they went about in Judah, and gathered the Levites out of all the cities of Jehudah, and the chief of the fathers of Israel, and they came to Jerusalem. And all the congregation made a covenant with the king in the house of Elohim. And he said unto them, Behold, the king's son shall reign, as Yahweh hath said of the sons of David. This is the thing that you shall do. A third part of you entering on the Sabbath of the priests and of the Levites shall be porters of the doors. And a third part shall be at the king's house, and a third part at the gate of the foundation. And all the people shall be in the courts of the house of Yahweh. And let none come into the house of Yahweh save the priests, and they that minister of the Levites, they shall go in, for they are holy. But all the people shall keep the watch of Yahweh. And the Levites shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapon in his hand, and whosoever else cometh into the house, he shall be put to death. But be you with the king, when he cometh in and when he goeth out. So the Levites and all Judah did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest had commanded, and took every man his being that would come in on the Sabbath, and them that were to go out on the Sabbath. For Jehoiada the priest dismissed not the courses. Moreover, Jehoiada the priest delivered to the captains of hundreds spears and bucklers and shields that had been King David's, which were in the house of Elohim. And he said, all the people, every man having his weapon in his hand, from the right side of the temple to the left side of the temple, along by the altar and the temple, by the king round about. Then they brought out the king's son, and put upon him the crown, and gave him the testimony, and made him king. And Jehoiada and his sons anointed him, and said, Elohim save the king. Now when Athaliah heard the noise of the people, running and praising the king, she came to the people into the house of Yahweh, and she looked, and behold, the king stood at his pillar at the entering in, and the princes and the trumpets by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced and sounded with trumpets. Also the singers with instruments of music, and such as taught to sing praise. Then Athaliah rent her clothes and said, Treason, treason. Then Jehoiada the priest brought out the captains of the hundreds that were set over the host, and said unto them, Have her forth of the ranges, and whosoever followeth her, let him be slain with the sword. For the priest said, Slay her not in the house of Yahweh. So they laid hands on her, and when she was come to the entry in of the house, a horse gate by the king's house, they slew her there. That's a strange reaction. I think y'all enjoy reading that, man. But you can't do that now, can you? Yeah, yeah, I feel your pain, bro. 2 Chronicles 23, verse 16. And Jehoiada made a covenant between him and between all the people, and between the king, that they should be Yahweh's people. Then all the people went to the house of Baal, and break it down, and break his altars and his images in pieces, and slew Mattan the priest of Baal before the altars. Also Jehoiada appointed the offices of the house of Yahweh by the hand of the priests, the Levites, whom David had distributed in the house of Yahweh, to offer the burnt offerings of Yahweh, as it is written in the law of Moshe, with rejoicing and with singing, as it was ordained by David. And he set the porters at the gates of the house of Yahweh, that none which was unclean in anything should enter in. And he took the captains of hundreds, and the nobles, and the governors of the people, and all the people of the land, and brought down the king from the house of Yahweh. And they came through the high place into the king's house, and set the king upon the throne of the kingdom. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet. After that, they had slain Athaliah with the sword. So apparently she was making a lot of noise until they killed her, and that's quiet. Too bad Steve ain't here. He would have loved that.
Oh, yeah.
2 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 1. Joash was 7 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zibiah of Beersheba. And Joash did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh all the days of Jehoiada the priest. And Jehoiada took for him two wives, and he begat sons and daughters. See, that's what that's gonna be doing in the kingdom. See, you ain't got to be going out on dates. You got to write no letter. All you got to do is find someone. Hey, give me that girl over there. Y'all ain't gonna lie. But see, ain't gonna do y'all no good to know that though, would it? I just thought I bring it up to show you how things were done back in these days. See? Yeah. Oh goodness. Only a single brother gonna be benefit from that. Let's see here. Verse 4. 2 Chronicles 24, verse 4. And it came to pass after this that Joash was minded to repair the house of Yahweh. And he gathered together the priests and the Levites and said to them, Go out into the cities of Judah and gather of all Israel money to repair the house of your Elohim from year to year, and see that you hasten the matter. Howbeit the Levites hasten it not. And the king called for Jehoiada the chief and said unto him, Why hast thou not required of the Levites to bring in out of Judah and out of Jerusalem the collection according to the commandment of Moshe the servant of Yahweh and of the congregation of Israel for the tabernacle of witness? Let's see here. Okay. For the sons of Athaliah, that wicked woman had broken up the house of Elohim, and also all the dedicated things of the house of Yahweh did they bestow upon Baalim. And at the king's commandment they made a chest and set it without at the gate of the house of Yahweh. And they made a proclamation through Judah and Jerusalem to bring in to Yahweh the collection that Moshe the servant of Elohim laid upon Israel in the wilderness. And all the princes and all the people rejoiced and brought in and cast into the chest until they had made an end. Now it came to pass that at what time the chest was brought in unto the king's office by the hand of the Levites, and when they saw that there was much money, the king's scribe and the high priest's officer came and emptied the chest and took it and carried it to its place again. Thus they did day by day and gathered money in abundance. And the king and Jehoiada gave it to such as did the work of the service of the house of Yahweh, and hired masons and carpenters to prepare the house of Yahweh, and also such as brought iron and brass to mend the house of Yahweh. So the workmen wrought, and the work was perfected by them, and they set the house of Elohim in estate and strengthened it. And when they had finished it, they brought the rest of the money before the king and Jehoiada, where they were made vessels for the house of Yahweh, even vessels to minister and to offer withal, and spoons and vessels of gold and silver. And they offered burnt offerings in the house of Yahweh continually all the days of Jehoiada. But Jehoiada waxed old and was full of days when he died. 130 years old was he when he died. And they buried him in the city of David among the kings, because he had done good in Israel, both toward Elohim and toward his house. Now after the death of Jehoiada came the princes of Judah and made obeisance to the king. Then the king hearkened unto them. And they left the house of Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, and served groves and idols. And wrath came upon Judah and Jerusalem for this and their trespass. Yet he sent prophets to them to bring them again unto Yahweh, but they testified against them, but they would not give ear. And the spirit of Elohim came upon Zechariah the son of Jehoiada, the priest, which stood before the people, and said unto them, Thus saith Elohim, Why transgress ye the commandments of Yahweh, that you cannot prosper? Because ye have forsaken Yahweh, he hath also forsaken you. And they conspired against him, and stoned him with stones at the commandment of the king in the court of the house of Yahweh. Thus Joash the king remembered not the kindness which Jehoiada his father had done to him, but slew his son. And when he died, he said, Yahweh look upon it and require it. And it came to pass at the end of the year that the host of Syria came up against him, and they came to Judah and Jerusalem, and destroyed all the princes of the people from among the people, and sent all the spoil of them unto the king of Damascus. For the army of the Syrians came with a small company of men, and Yahweh delivered a great host a very great host into their hands, because they had forsaken Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, so they executed judgment upon against Joash. And when they were departed from him, for they left him in great diseases, his own servants conspired against him for the blood of the sons of Jehoiada the priest, and slew him on his bed, and he died. And they buried him in the city of David, but they buried him not in the sepulchres of the kings. And these are they that conspired against him: Zabad the son of Shimeath, an Ammonitess, and Jehoshaphat the son of Shimrith, a Moabitess. Now concerning his sons, and the greatness of the burdens laid upon him, and the repairing of the house of Elohim, behold, they are written in the story of the book of the kings, and Amaziah his son reigned in his stead. I'm going to stop here and open the floor for questions before we dismiss. Does anyone have any questions before we dismiss? I miss old Hillel, man. He always got a question I'm waiting on.
Always.
Yeah, well, maybe Yahweh willing, he'll come back to us soon.
Y'all will.
Yeah, let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Let's see what's on chat. Okay. Come on here. There we go. Okay, I got Brother Abraham on Facebook. Shalom, Brother Abraham. Shalom, Julius Brown. Shalom, Avisha Judah. Shalom, Brother Mick Anderson. Shalom, Yamina. Let's see. This thing's acting kind of funny. Shalom, Brother Al-Hayam, Sister Malaka. Shalom, Brother Eliyahu. Shalom, Dun. Shalom, Gregor Rucker. Shalom, Elder Hiram. Shalom, Brother Yaakov. Shalom, Sister Naraya. Shalom, Melinda Curry. Shalom, Elder Mick. Shalom, Elder Tobiah. Shalom, Brother Kemuel. Shalom, Morning Crisp. Shalom, Brother Clarence Marks and Sister Yolita. Shalom, Elder Hiram, let's see here. And Stephen, okay. Shalom, Ezra Ben Israel. Shalom, Humble. 7-7, I guess. Shalom, Brother Hodiah. Shalom, Brother Yosef. Shalom, Sister Rachel by Israel. Shalom, Mother Leah. Shalom, Power Play for Real. Shalom, Lonely Red Wolf. Shalom, Nia P. Shalom, Brother Malachi. Shalom, Brother Adrian Davis. Shalom, Adrian. Shalom, Bobby Guys. Shalom, is love, Yasharala. What's going on with this thing? Okay, here we go. Oh, that's it. Is love, Yasharala?
Last one you got?
That's all I got. That's the last one. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Mm.
You say you saw Adrian?
Adrian? Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Yeah, well,
Hold on. Yeah, you said yourself. I don't know what it was.
yeah, well,
That was it.
I tell you what, let me see here. Let me go ahead and finish this out then. I'll do chapter 25. I was going to save it for next week, but I guess we got a lot of time on our hands. Okay. Oh, let's switch up here. Where's the thing at? Here we go, way over here. Okay. All right. This is 2 Chronicles 25, verse 1. Amaziah was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Jehohanan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, but not with a perfect heart. And it came to pass, when the kingdom was established to him, that he slew his servants that killed the king his father. But he slew not their children, but did as it is written in the law, in the book of Moshe, where Yahweh commanded, saying, the father shall not die for the children, neither shall the children die for the fathers, but every man shall die for his own sin. Moreover, Amaziah gathered Judah together, and made them captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, according to the houses of their fathers, throughout all Judah and Benjamin. And he numbered them from 20 years old and above, and found them 300,000 choice men able to go forth to war, that could handle spear and shield. He hired also 100,000 mighty men of valor out of Israel for 100 talents of silver. But there came a man of Elohim to him, saying, O king, let not the army of Israel go with thee, for Yahweh is not with Israel, to wit, with all the children of Ephraim. But if thou wilt go, do it. Be strong for the battle of Elohim. Be strong for the battle. Elohim shall make thee fall before the enemy. For Elohim hath power to help and to cast down. And Amaziah said to the man of Elohim, but what shall we do for the 100 talents which I have given to the army of Israel? And the man of Elohim answered, Yahweh is able to give thee much more than this. Then Amaziah separated them, to wit, the army that was come to him out of Ephraim, to go home again, wherefore their anger was greatly kindled against Judah, and they returned home in great anger. And Amaziah strengthened himself, and led forth his people, and went to the valley of Salt, and smote of the children of Seir 10,000. And other 10,000 left alive did the children of Judah carry away captive, and brought them onto the top of the rock, and cast them down from the top of the rock, that they all were broken in pieces. That's a terrible way to go. Now that's what our father did. Now we complain about the way other people do their people, but look what our father was doing, throwing people off the rock, off the mountain. That's kind of cold-hearted. Let's see here.
13.
13. Thank you. But the soldiers of the army, which Amaziah sent back, that they should not go with him into battle, fell upon the cities of Judah from Samaria even to Beth Horon, and smote 3,000 of them, and took much spoil. Now it came to pass after that Amaziah was come from the slaughter of the Edomites, that he brought the gods of the children of Seir, and set them up to be his gods, and bowed down himself before them, and burned incense unto them. So you look what happened to Esau. Yahweh didn't have nothing to do with Esau, but he had to do with his twin brother, right? So look what Esau doing now. He worshiping other gods. What? Don't you remember your brother? Yeah, you didn't want to kill him anyway. That's all. Verse 15. Wherefore the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Amaziah, and he sent unto him a prophet, which said unto him, Why hast thou sought after the gods of the people, which could not deliver their own people out of thine hand? And it came to pass, as he talked with him, that the king said unto him, Art thou made of the king's counsel? Forbear, why shouldst thou be smitten? Then the prophet forbare and said, I know that Elohim had determined to destroy thee, because thou hast done this, and hast not hearkened to my counsel. Then Amaziah, king of Judah, took advice and sent to Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us see one another in the face. And Joash, king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast that was in Lebanon, and trode down the thistle. Thou sayest, Lo, thou hast smitten the Edomites, and thine heart lifted thee up to boast. Abide now at home. Why shouldst thou meddle to thine heart, to thy hurt, that thou shouldst fall, even thou and Judah with thee? But Amaziah would not hear, for it came of Elohim, that he might deliver them into the hand of their enemies, because they sought after the gods of Edom. So Joash, the king of Israel, went up, and they saw one another in the face, both he and Amaziah, king of Judah, at Bethshemesh, which belongeth to Judah. And Judah was put to the worst before Israel, and they fled every man to his tent. And Joash, the king of Israel, took Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, at Bethshemesh, and brought him to Jerusalem, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim to the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and the silver and all the vessels that were found in the house of Elohim with Obed-Edom. That's what I'm trying to think about, Obed-Edom. That had the Ark of the Covenant. Yeah. And the treasures of the king's house, the hostages also, and returned to Samaria. And Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, lived after the death of Joash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, 15 years. Now the rest of the acts of Amaziah, first and last, behold, are they not written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel? Now after the time that Amaziah did turn away from following Yahweh, they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish, but they sent to Lachish after him, and slew him there. And he brought him upon the horses, and buried him with the fathers in the city of Judah. I'm going to stop right here, and go ahead and close this out. See if did I get anybody else? This thing is acting funny. Let's see here. Why is this thing acting funny?
What's it doing?
Hold on a second. Well, I can't pull up chat now. It's been kind of bouncing around all day without me touching it. See right here, I'm trying to pull up chat.
And look larger screen over
Oh, it's already up, isn't it?
there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That just got 2 or 3. Yeah. Shalom, Brother Alahayim, praise Yah. And shalom, Jimmy O'Moore. Appreciate y'all checking in. We're going to go ahead and close it out. Thank y'all for joining us Facebook and YouTube. Join our sisters class this coming 5th day, which is Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. And then join us for our Sabbath service this coming 7th day, which is Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Shalom.